cyclical theme. Since we are here at the new moon, last night was the beginning of the cycle of the moon. And so it's a 28 lunar cycle, 28-day lunar cycle. So we're building light. And the same thing is about to happen to the earth. The season of the sun, S-U-N, is coming back. The light of the earth is coming back. And so there's great celebration. These next 10 days or so, or a week, is going to be the darkest of the year. And I think that this also reflects in a microcosmic way, the macrocosmic 2020 year that we've had. So we'll use that in celebration. And having a couple of pillows. I like to wrap my pillows in a blanket so that they're nice and firm. This will be acting as a bolster. And we will begin with a child's pose. So child's pose is our coming back into the darkness, or into the symbol of the seed and the darkness within ourselves. That also is a representation of potentiality. It's the seed that's within the ground, and it has not come to fruition, but there's a lot of expectation. The same way, if you had a child in your womb, it takes time for things to maturate. And so we're going to allow ourselves to represent that through the child's pose. So finding your way nice and comfy with some good space in between your hips, turning your head and gathering your friend in here. So collect all that feels what you need for this. Maybe collecting all the blankets and pillows off the bed. Just reflecting about the comfort that's cycling. Whenever you feel that you're in a situation that is endless or has some heaviness to it, you can always remind yourself of the concept of a cycle. Everything is guaranteed to change. Everything ends and then is created again. From that creativity is sustained. And then from sustaining, it goes back into the destruction or to the breakdown. So birth, growth, death, cycle and seasons. And I can say that since most of us are women that are collected in this class, just a majority, that we understand that as women, this powerful awareness of cycling, having a moon cycle for most of memories of youth and all that goes into that. Those that are mothers, the cycles of becoming a mother, the levels of rearing of children. And you can begin to turn your head to the opposite side now. Last few breaths. We'll hold an image of the day, the cycling of your day today. We could liken this time of the day to something of autumn. It's just before the complete darkness of the night. And it'll all get experienced again tomorrow. So taking in what the day has for you in terms of growth, learning, perhaps comfort and satisfaction, good parts, no matter what, sifting through all of it. And start to come out of the child's pose, just placing the bolster off to the side. We'll come into a tabletop pose. Just very softly start to move into the spine, some cat-cow movements. Think of the dropping of the chest and the lifting of the gaze on the inhale, and then lifting to look at your belly button, pushing your shoulder blades apart towards the ceiling. Neutral spine, and your right hand is going to flip over. We're going to start to sit back on the heels as you draw that right hand back, and then sweep it up to the sky, nice arcing around. So inhale, exhale as you arc around. Allow that right arm to come up in the air and twisting to look up there at the hand. Getting a little bit of that open and fall back behind you, opening up the shoulder nest, the top of the right part of the lungs, the ribs here. And we'll do 2 preps, and then on the third, we're going to go into a shoulder twist. So inhale, and then exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, reaching up. Threading twice. And then this third time, we're going to hang out on the shoulder. So threading the right arm across underneath the body. Hips are high. And we'll take that left arm either in front or behind the back. You can tuck your hand in hip crease or in your waistband. Belly as it gives into gravity, dropping flesh and cellular fluid more towards the chest. Tipping the tail up, so tightening up and drawing in the perineum. Okay, the pelvic floor, the rectum, the urethra muscle. So on your exhale, you can squeeze, and then inhale, release. yogis call this the gate. Walk in. Very powerful muscle. It's under discussed, under contented, perhaps, in just regular movement or exercise is so essential, especially as gravity begins to pull down the organs. Let's get our last 3 breaths. So on your exhale, squeeze. Slowly unwind. We'll come back into the tabletop. And just allowing that arm to have some freedom of movement. We'll go in through the tabletop cat-cow poses once again. And let's stretch back, giving the knees a moment to have some reprise, pushing through the calf. So straight leg, pushing through the toes, and then slightly bend the knee, and the same thing, push through the toes. And we'll repeat on the other side. Straight leg, toes under, and press back. Slightly bend and press. And now the left side. So we flip the left palm. Inhale as you sit back on the hips. Exhale as you sweep. Allow that big arcing around the left side. Inhale. Exhale. Time with your left arm comes up in the air, let that lift up, turn your gaze and opens the twist. Shoulder head opens, lungs expand, creating space in the ribs. Push down as well as reach up. Let gravity take that arm, pull back just slightly. And then we'll do the 2 preps of the threading of the needle. And then on our third, so exhale as you twist. Inhale. And now we go for the threading of the needle. Maybe the arm in front or behind you. Notice or become aware of the cycling now that your body is going through effort and calling from gravity. How the belly starts to change and it vacuum areas of high pressure and low pressure and change. Maybe your breathing has now altered. So things are in constant change here, and then on the exhale, continue the practice of drawing in and out of the pelvic floor. Inhale, releasing, and exhaling. And the greatest and most powerful of the cycles of our body, of our life, is our breath.
Nice last few breaths. Keep squeezing on the exhale. Activating and tonifying the area of the bladder. So last exhale. I'll start to unwind. Have a moment of stretching up. And then coming to sit on the top of the feet. Sitting in this pose, which is a thunderbolt pose. You can always add some extra underneath the back of your legs. It's a little bit too much. You can also be sitting on a block. I'm going to bring one hand to the center of the chest here and just begin some tapping at the center, knocking on the door, the heart. It's just firm taps with the tips of the first few fingers. Breathe deeply. And then we'll take both fingers right at the shoulder head, tapping. And then under the collarbones. So following along, under the collarbones, up to the shoulder head, and back around. Stimulating for the breath. Also a lymphatic breathing lines for the lungs, kidneys. You can even work the heart back in, tap down. Move around now and go towards the underneath, and you just bend your elbows. You'll be right at that spot that you need for the kidneys, right in the lungs. We're going to go around to the kidneys in the back. So tapping along the sides of the rib cage and then kind of hitting this area of the body where the kidneys are. This is just waking up, bringing energy. So bringing your hands here, continuing with the area of the kidneys, and just kind of rub the kidneys. It's such a stressful year for most everybody.
Uh-oh. Am I back?
Huh?
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
You're back.
Country life.
Back on?
I hope it's all back on. If you can't hear me or see me, please let me know. Okay, we'll continue. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go back where we just were, sitting with your hands behind and then lifting the hips up. So squeezing the derriere, extend the hip flexors, then lowering back down. Allow yourself to get a little closer in, hands a little closer in. Draw the shoulders back, lift the chest, arch, and then if it feels right to lift the hips, squeezing the derriere. With the shoulder blades there, they're supporting the neck slightly as you drop back. And then you can take a little break, walking the hands a little bit closer. One last time. And then circling to come around. So we're going to come around to sitting in straight leg pose. So we're off the knees for a while. You can rub those knees. Let me just double check something. Make sure we're still recording. Okay, good deal. And we're still sharing screen, so everybody's got music. Groovy. Groovy, groovy, groovy. Okay, toes up. All right, so we're gonna bring our bolster back and we're gonna go into a forward fold. So you can do one of two things, no bolster. You can bring the bolster over the legs and have a nice soft forward fold this way. You can also place your legs on half or sort of some of your bolster. And this is just a little bit more intensity because it's making the legs go a little straighter. So finding your forward fold, coming around to the end of the cycle. And breathing into your back. And just reflecting on where your body began in the pose, and now after this first minute or so, how it has journeyed to a new level. Of settling into a new pattern of breath, surrendering into the legs, getting longer, reorganizing on the bone. The low back extending and lengthening, the spine growing long from tail to head. Now this is our final minute. I'm going to ask you to really let your head, neck, and shoulders go and curl into the pose. Let your arms just sink wherever they are. Let go of any tension. Beginning to make some stirrings. To come up nice flat back. And bending the knees. Hugging in just a little. Reorganize those legs. And we'll finish the cycle by going back into the child's pose. So having your bolster in prep. Knees a little bit wider this time. Toes meeting. And turning your head to the opposite side. We'll begin to rise from the child's pose. We'll start taking a moment. We're going to go into a lunge. So we'll bring that right foot forward into lunge pose. First, finding a nice long lunge, nice squared off right angles in the knees. Tailbone is drawing down, a nice long spine, shoulders open, drawing the shoulder blades back, just feeling that nice long posture, tall spine, chin just slightly collected. Now pull the navel up, perineum up, and hug in what's called the plumb line. We're going to take a nice twist. So from the plumb line twist, nice and stabilized, thumbs at the center of your chest, twisting towards the right. So still maintaining the hips towards the front, whereas the shoulders are going in opposite there. And then we're going to place the left elbow on the knee, kind of the outer edge of the knee, and continue twisting. So notice that the knee is stacked on top of the ankle. Growing long in the spine. bit of stabilization. So squeeze the hips in, continue pulling in at the navel and at the pelvic floor. Tuck your back toes and just hover that knee off the ground, and then maybe you'll straighten your leg, or maybe that knee will go back down. So whatever is comfortable for you, just a little bit of strength and stability testing, or litmus testing, just seeing where, testing the waters. So you're hugging in the midline, the hands are pressing together, shoulders hugging in, hips hugging in, pressing that heel back strongly. And this elbow is pushing into the knee, and the knee is pushing into the elbow. So that's strength. Final part, gazing up at the ceiling. Now you may fall, and that's okay. You kind of want to get to a little bit of a breaking point there. So no worries. I'm going to slowly come down, reversing the way that we came into it. And then coming back to center, and we go into dragon. So both hands on the inner side. We're going to heel toe that right foot out to the side. And then we're just going to ease into our dragon. So you may feel you want you have some tenderness in that kneecap on the left side, placing a blanket pillow under there. Just check in with it. So we're doing these nice lunges, going into dragon lunge. Starting to come a little deeper into the flexor and the extensor. Now we're going to hang out and hold here. You can tuck your back toe and guide the back knee. If you do have your bolster handy, it's always nice to have some support. Not necessary. As our yin practice, we're always holding poses. So this can also be done with a chair. So you would prop your hands up on the chair. You could do this by the couch. So you could have the couch on the side of you and resting one hand in that such a way. You can have your hands on two blocks, two yoga blocks to hold you up here. So notice the cycling, it's a weird word, the cycling of from where you began and where the pose is taking your body, the demands of the pose. There's quite a bit of demands on like the knee and the back and even in the shoulders. So noticing the changes and the cycles of what's happening. We're going to begin to go into, again, that folding and extending. So now we take the opposite and continue in what's called half Hanumanasana or half split. I'm going to hold right here. So you're right over that right leg. Think of your shin and your chin making contact. So you're going to put your chin over your knee. So somewhere thereabouts. And in a lot of yoga poses where the leg series of Ashtanga, they're having you fold over and then your eyes are gazing at your big toe, the nail of your big toe. And in that respect, it lengthens out the spine. You've got your yoga eyes on your big toe. So you can do a little bit of yoga eyes in this as well. Toes flexing back, really push through that heel. Final few breaths here. We're cycling back into the dragon pose or the gecko. So come back, same leg, same idea, holding into the dragon here. And then sitting back, toes up, that half split or half Ardha Hanumanasana. Because we've already cycled through one time, you may find that you have even more space, or it's not as tight as it was once when we began. And then releasing. We're going to do just a little bit of a squat to take our awareness off of the knees, or take ourselves off this mat in the knees. We can have a break. And so just a nice knees together, balancing squat. Use the wall, use a chair. So you're hugging this midline. We're going to go into the lunge and twist on the other side. So nice, another practice. And hugging in the plumb line, the center line here. And then we'll take the lunge, left leg forward, making awareness that the knee and the ankle and the hip and the ankle are stacked, or the hip and the knee. All right, so tailbone draws down, belly draws in, pelvic floor draws up, spine is lengthening up. There's a thread at the crown of the head lifting up. Chin is slightly connected, so bring awareness in. From that awareness, hugging the plumb line, hugging hips, we twist over to the left. Engaging the two opposites. And then when you're ready, right elbow makes connection to just slightly the outer edge of that left knee. And keep hugging in, lengthening. Stability here. Testing stability just for fun. Tuck your toes and then just lift that knee up slightly, put it back down. If it feels right, you can pick it up, push that heel back nice and strong, squeeze in the derriere, squeeze the hips, and grow long out the crown of the head. This is optional, but either is going to really just test that stabilizing. Just going to wake up those channels. Last part is rotate, look up at the ceiling, and you might go doop, doop, fall over. It's okay. This can be practice. Starting to unwind the way that we came in. We'll go into the dragon series. So hands on the inside, give a little space, by heel toe, and then dropping that back knee back. And we'll fold forward and back. And now hanging out in the dragon. Noticing the cycling of how it was as you began. Maybe it started out easy. And now you have this setting in, asking you to let go to another level. Another willingness. Shoulders, the knee, all these parts. Letting go. Start to move now back, half split. Really open up the Achilles tendon and draw, let it back. Now we go back into the dragon, the gecko. You may feel, hey, that feels a little easier, or a little more relief since we're taking the opposite of the cycle where we just were. A little shorter cycle hanging out here. We'll go back into the half split here. By the way, if you have splits and you want to take those half splits and come into full splits, by all means go into them. We'll save this for another day. And then we're going to come back into the squat where we just were. We'll have a little special squat that is a little different. Maybe rub the knees. So this was just introduced to me. So we'll see how it goes. So you want to have a little space in between your squat. This is going to be for the shoulders. So for some yogis, some yogi friends, just staying right here is going to be good. And I'll show you some variations. So you're going to bring your hands as if they're on your hips. And then from there, bring your elbows to the inside of your knees and squeeze as you feel the pressure and where you can go. I'll show you that again just in case you're like, what did she just do? So you're going to take your hands to your hips, but flip those palms over. Now draw the elbows together, kind of like you're doing this, and then come down and squeeze. It's a really delicious stretch. So for those of you that are like, I can't do that, you're just going to take your hands wherever you can go and come on the insides of your knees. You can also do this sitting in a chair, at the edge of your chair, or even sitting on a yoga block. Just stick your yoga block underneath your tail there. This one's an interesting one. It's become one of my favorites. Certainly looks like don't have any hands. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take it down now. Let us come into, we're gonna allow our bolster to take a dismantling of sorts. So having the pillows now be underneath the knees. For just a moment, we'll come onto the back. So having your knees draped. We're gonna hug the right leg in, circling the ankle a few times. Taking the leg up to the sky, maybe holding the back of the calf or the back of the thigh. Drawing it in. I'm going to bend the knee and take that knee over to the left side. So right knee goes over to the left side. And my spinal twist. The neck is going to turn to the opposite side of that knee. And you can also have your arm above or somewhere that feels, you can open that shoulder. Grounding the shoulder down to the mat. Now we're going to hang out in the twist, taking your right hand to the outer edge on the opposite side, so that would be on the left side, and you're going to draw that right ear to the right shoulder, just with a little bit of intensity. And then ever so slightly start to turn your chin up to the ceiling. And you can repeat that. And you may get a little pop or something. And it should feel like a nice stretch. It should not be painful. So any pain, then refrain. And we're going to come back through to center and extend the right leg and switch now. Drawing in, hugging into the organs, squeezing those digestive tracts, circling your ankle. And then taking your leg straight up in the sky. Just one little extra stretch here. And bending that knee and crossing it over to the opposite side here. So left over to the right. And we'll take that gaze over to the left. So neck, gaze, opposite where the leg is. And then on the opposite side, we'll take that left hand to the outer edge of the head, drawing the left ear to the left shoulder. And just maintain some of that intensity as you then turn your neck, gazing out at the ceiling. And you can repeat that. And we'll bring it back around to center and ending on a nice supported Shavasana. I like to tuck my bolster under the knees, supporting. Just bring our hands over onto the person. It can be on your low belly or one hand on the heart. Just tuning into that seed within, that darkness, potentiality within. Taking comfort in cycles. Everything is beginning, sustaining, or ending. Nothing lasts forever. There will always be a new idea around the corner. All suffering will eventually come to an end. Let's take these last few breaths. Notice if your mind is starting to get a little antsy, if this is a energy level of stillness you can take into your evening. If there's quite a bit of practice, every day is different. So finding from where you are, reflecting from where you began, and taking this energy into the rest of your evening. Bringing your knees to hug in, massage your spine, and then maybe rock and roll up your spine or roll over to your side to come up. And we'll all meet at seated pose for our blessing to one another through our vibration of our vocal cords. So the vibration goes down and through our body, and then the sound also goes out to everyone. So the Om has that energetic quality to it of healing and relaxing. So such a beautiful class. Thank you for being with me with all the bumps and obstacles along the way. And we'll Om together. If you would like to undo your video, I don't know what that'll do to the broadband, but we'll just go with it. And then please do Om along with me if it feels right for you. You don't have to be
Lotus singer to do so. So allowing your breath to rise inside.
Have a wonderful night, everybody. Eat well, sleep well. Namaste.